How can the deep stay in the 7? First, the deep occupies a unique ecological niche. He is the world's only aquatic hero, and Vought needs him to monopolize the ocean economy and harvest green traffic. When scandals stripped him of his value, Vought dumped him in Ohio. But the moment they wanted to reboot the maritime market, the deep was the only option. Second, he is a master at playing the victim. To claw his way back to Vought, he even joined a cult in season 2. He found a model wife and went everywhere preaching about his sobriety and self-reflection. He acts incredibly humble in front of the cameras just to win back the public's favor. But what truly got him back by Homelander's side was the blood price he paid. Homelander doesn't need allies, he needs absolute obedience. During that suffocating octopus dinner, the moment he tearfully chewed up his friend Timothy, he proved to Homelander that he would do anything for power. Finally, as he watched his only love, Ambrosius, die of dehydration in utter despair, he used this self-destructive loyalty to secure his seat. It represents the moment the Deep officially became Homelander's slave. When was the Deep's most desperate moment? After pulling every string to rejoin the 7, the Deep expected a glorious homecoming. Instead, he found a Homelander who had gone completely dark. He didn't need a teammate, he needed an obedient lapdog. This welcome dinner was actually a brutal compliance test. To a man who views sea creatures as his only friends, watching Homelander wordlessly snap a lobster made him tremble with bone-deep fear. He tried to ask for bread just to settle his stomach, only to hear Homelander's chilling reply. This was all prepared specifically for you. Watching Ashley gorge on seafood felt like watching his own kin being dismembered right before his eyes. The moment his spirit truly shattered was when the main course arrived, his best friend, Timothy the Octopus. To the Deep, Timothy wasn't food. He was his last emotional anchor in a lonely world. Trapped between Timothy's shivering pleas for mercy and Homelander's unquestionable command to eat it, the Deep found himself in a horrific dead end. Despite his heart breaking, he didn't dare to resist. With trembling hands and under the cold gaze of the room, he personally forced his old friend into his mouth. As the black ink leaked from the corners of his lips, the Deep's last shred of dignity and humanity was crushed underfoot. At that moment, he was no longer a lord of the seas. He was merely a soulless slave trapped in Homelander's cage. Why would the Deep unfreeze Soldier Boy? If the Deep truly releases Soldier Boy, the most logical explanation is revenge. A desperate Deep wants to make Homelander pay. First, the Deep is the person Homelander overlooks the most. In episode 7, the Deep accidentally killed New Black Noir and went to confess. Instead of punishment, Homelander dissolved the 7 and kicked him out. This turned the Deep's long-term endurance for power into a joke. But because of this contempt, Homelander would never expect a betrayal from him. Second, the Deep has lost everything and has nowhere to go. Due to the oil spill, countless fish died because of him, and marine life now hates him. If he enters the water, the ocean will take its revenge. Homelander rejected him, and the sea won't accept him. At this moment, he remembers A-Train's advice. A-Train was once seen as Vought's accomplice, but redeemed himself through action. To find his own redemption, the Deep must change. He chooses to unfreeze Soldier Boy for his last shred of humanity. Finally, Soldier Boy's chest blast is one of the few powers that can threaten Homelander. The Deep cannot face Homelander directly in the White House battle, but amidst the chaos, he can slip into the room and break Soldier Boy's seal. Did you know the Deep actually killed himself? On the surface, he was torn apart by sharks and octopuses in the finale, but the truth is, the Deep controlled them to kill himself. Look at his powers. He treats marine life like tools for his hero fantasy. In season 1, he stuffed a dolphin into a van. The dolphin ended up flying out and getting crushed. Then he used a whale to block Butcher's boat, and the whale got rammed straight through. These creatures didn't want to risk their lives. They were forced into his mess. Then there's Ambrosius. He just used her to cure his loneliness, but under Homelander's pressure, he was forced to kill her. That was the moment his fantasy started to crack. The oil spill completely broke him. With so many sea creatures dying, he started hearing sharks blame him, warning him to never go back into the water. Those voices weren't real. It was just his own guilt spiraling out of control. He finally realized he wasn't the protector of the ocean, he was the executioner. So the second he hit the water in the finale, his guilt triggered his superpowers. He didn't order the creatures to save him. Instead, he controlled the sharks and octopuses to end his own life.